Last but not least, what about good old-fashioned logic? What about the change in the disciples' behavior? After the crucifixion, they all hid for fear of their lives. Yes? Peter even denied knowing him while he was being beaten. After the resurrection, they all came out of hiding, boldly proclaiming the resurrection of Yeshua. Boldly. Do you see the change? In a few days, not years later. I'm hiding, I'm afraid, I'm not even there. They weren't even there, hiding. And now, all of a sudden, they come out boldly proclaiming. I mean, Peter, the rock, became a pebble, only become a boulder when he saw Yeshua. What about Paul? This guy was the vicious persecutor of the faith, killing people. He becomes the apostle to the Gentiles. How do you change like that unless you lost your mind? You're killing Jews for believing in Yeshua, and you go to proclaiming Yeshua as the Messiah to the Gentile world. Guys, what kind of sense does that make? Another thing that you should know, that the torture of believers in the first century was as brutal as it comes. They burned believers on stakes. They impaled them and burned them to light up for their parties. I mean, disgusting stuff. Stuff that's so evil and awful. We have multiple eyewitness accounts written from highly regarded historians who record and testify to these brutal and unspeakable acts. Everybody knows Yeshua was killed. Everybody knows about these unspeakable acts of violence and torture that were perpetrated against believers in the first century. But in all that, in the thousands and thousands of accounts, there is not one account, not one written account of anyone renouncing their faith in the face of such persecution. Has everybody lost their mind? Under penalty of death? This is a phenomenon. Explain it to me. How are you going to convince 12 guys to give up their life for a lie? How could you, who could do that? It's so ridiculous. Guys, the greatest foundation stone of our faith is the historic evidence of the resurrection of Yeshua. Here, on this stone, you and I can stand and should stand and do battle for the faith, because we have a situation that cannot be contradicted. It can be denied, but it cannot be disproved. It cannot.